So a lot of you guys saw from my other video that I was in Africa last month, and that's where I'm initially from, but I never actually broke down how I came to this country and what are some other reasons I even went back to Africa. So if you give me a few minutes, I'd like to share that with you guys, and I promise by watching these videos you'll get a little better idea of who I am as a person and why I make certain decisions in my businesses. So how did I even come to this country? Well, I was born in the beginning of a civil war in a small country in West Africa called Liberia. When I was 1 year old, my mother had to get my siblings and I out of the country. It was literally a life or death situation. So we moved around to a few different countries in West Africa before finally coming to the United States in 1997 when I was 9 years old. Fast forward all the way till now, 2021, and I'm just getting a chance to go back to my home country where I was born to reconnect with my roots. But I can't say that's the only reason I went back to Africa. See, leading up to that time, I've been following some other channels on YouTube, great African content creators, some diaspora Americans who are going back to Africa, making big things happen as far as business and just elevating the continent of Africa. So it had been drawing my attention. It's something that I want to participate in or see how I can add to that movement. So yes, I want to go back to reconnect with my roots, but I also want to look for business opportunities. So the first and foremost thing in Africa a lot of people go back for is to purchase real estate. Just like America, real estate is a booming business in Africa, and there's different kind of ways to dabble in real estate. You can either purchase just the land, which there's abundant land in Africa that's untapped. So mostly people are just going for the land that's closer towards the cities and just moving out from there. So people can either buy land and hold on to land for a few years and flip those lands, especially if it's in an area that's close by a city or marketplace. Naturally, the land will appreciate over time, so people are flipping land. People are developing land, doing apartments like rental houses, or just developing and selling. Big difference from America, where we build over here with wood. In Africa, it's just all cement and iron rods. A lot of numbers on real estate look good, whether you're renting out or you're holding on to land and just flipping it, or you're developing the land and then selling the house on it. There's a lot of different options in Africa. The great opportunity in Africa is transportation. You got to be middle class or above to have your own vehicle and your own transportation. The majority of people over there just either catch a bus or a bike or a taxi, or these little 3-seater bikes that you probably see a lot of clips of me riding around in, which is great for maneuvering in traffic. But the majority of people don't have a vehicle, so transportation opportunities are huge in Africa. You can buy a bus and have a driver, and usually the driver is responsible for paying what they call master money. So if you lease out your bus to a driver, every week they'll give you a certain amount of money. If you have multiple buses or taxis, they have companies that you can lease the vehicle out to, and what they do, they work the vehicles for 6 days a week. On that 7th day, which is a Sunday, that's the maintenance day. For example, you could purchase a bike for about $3,000. That bike will bring you $50 a week, which is $200 a month. So it pays for itself within a year and a half, and the lifespan on those bikes are usually around 5 years. Another big one is exporting. Since I'm in the automotive space where I have access to vehicles a little bit cheaper and I have a repair shop to where I can put the vehicle together, it makes sense to export vehicles that are in high demand to Africa. Now, the only negative side about that is it takes sometimes over a month to get over there, and then another couple weeks to clear the vehicle, and then having to find somebody to buy it if you don't already have that connection set up. So your money might be lingering for a few months before you can get paid. But there's a lot of vehicles out there that are in high demand, and it's not like in America where there's a dealership on every other block. Over there, there's not too many big companies that's involved in the game. All the automotives that are coming in that country are from smaller dealers or people just trying to get into that business. But the majority of their vehicles are coming from America and UK. Used vehicles that are 5 to 10 to 15 years old can make great money out there. And another great thing about exporting vehicles to Africa is, let's say a vehicle has body damage and it would cost you $500 over here to pay a body shop to fix that, or even $1,000 to pay a body shop. You could literally throw the parts in that car and send it to Africa, and you could find somebody to do it for $100, or basically a fraction of the cost. And that's with body work, that's with repair work, basically any kind of labor over there, you're paying a fraction of the cost. And other things you can export are like cosmetic goods, and just even little stuff like cereal and things that you'd be amazed that they don't have over there. Something that we can just go to Walmart or Publix and just pick up off the shelf. People don't have access to those things over there. So if you can bring some of those things into the country, people will definitely buy it. And some of those things are even considered a luxury. So now it's like a big trend going on, like the move back to Africa. African Americans are going back, and a lot of Africans who've been living in this country for a while are going back. And you'll see a lot of people going back to even retire over there because the cost of living is so much cheaper than over here. I mean, if you're getting $1,000 to $2,000 cash flow a month in West Africa, you are living good. I mean, let me give you an example, right? Let's say you don't want to be cooking, you don't want to be cleaning, you want to have like a nanny or a maid who will come to your house every day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. How much do you think you will pay somebody like that? Go ahead, I'll give you a minute. What are you thinking? About $1,000, $1,500? Guess again. The average pay for somebody like that is $150 or sometimes even $100 a month, meaning that you can have somebody cook, clean, go to town, go to the market, get you whatever you want to eat that day, and they'll come back, they'll cook it for you, they'll clean their house, they'll do the dishes, they'll take care of the kids, they'll do the laundry, they'll do all these things for $150 a month. A lot of times when I was going out, a beer is like $1.50, $2 the most if you're going out to the club. And what I was spending on meals was like $5, really about between $3 to $5 a meal. Haircuts cost me about $2. So these are just examples just to show you that how far you can even stretch $100 or $1,000. So that's why I say if you have $2,000 coming every month, which is a very comfortable amount, and your house is already built, you already have transportation, and you have a $2,000 just to live off every month, you can live a very comfortable life. A lot of people who are retiring and having a fixed amount coming in every month are looking at alternatives other than the Western world to try to retire in, because in America, $2,000 a month is not gonna get you anywhere. I mean, your landlord gonna raise your rent every year. If you own your own house, you gotta pay property taxes. As the property value goes up, so is your property tax. And every time I walk into Walmart, I can't spend less than $100. A lot of times I'm walking in there getting food, I'm spending $200, $300, and I'm not even knowing where it goes. So inflation is very real over here. So people are going back to Africa to retire, and I don't blame them. You can live very comfortably over there for a very low amount of money. And even like myself, I don't necessarily like driving around in West Africa because they don't have no traffic lights, stop signs. They just bob in and out. So you can even have a driver for $150 a month, and he'll drive you anywhere you want to go. And let's say you go into a bar or a lounge to hang out for a few hours, he's gonna be right there in the car waiting for you when you get out. He's not dropping you off and taking off and come back to get you later. He's waiting right outside, and if he gotta take a nap, he can take a nap in the car, but he is gonna wait on you because that's his job. That's how he makes his money. That's how he feeds his family. So you're taking care of him by providing that job, and he's gonna take care of you by being anywhere you need him to. So it's a huge difference in Africa than the Western world, and it's not even close in comparison to how far your money can stretch. Another reason for my whole trip to Africa is, you know, growing up in America, I had a really hard time, got involved with bad crowd, got locked up, selling drugs, just a bunch of stuff that now that I have a son, I don't want him to fall in that same category or be another statistic. So as all these things start to happen over here, especially in the last couple of years with racism, police brutality, and just living in Atlanta and see how these kids act and grow up and their perspective on life, what they think is important, is just not a category that I want my son in. So I'm not trying to downplay America or any other country. That's not the purpose of saying this. I don't want my son to have to grow up in the wrong environment, trying to feel like he has to be somebody that he's not, to try to impress people who really don't care about him or who don't value things that are really important in life. I want to have more control over his life. And sometime in the Western world, that's a little bit tough to do with these kids, especially nowadays with the technology. They're so exposed to everything, and sometimes they live a double life. You really don't know what's going on. So, it's not just the police brutality and the racism. It's just the overall aura and direction that the next generation is going in that I'm not necessarily a big fan. So I try to plan ahead for my son, and if Africa can be a place where I could take him to maybe raise him a little bit, to really hone in on the kind of person I want him to be, train him to be the person that could take over what I'm doing, what I've started as far as my business, and build a legacy for our family, and take that and add onto it, not grow up to be a person who will just take everything out of the bucket, everything I worked my whole life putting into it. So I always have that thought in the back of my mind. If there was somewhere else to go where I could raise my son to make him into the kind of person I want him to be, then it would have to be my home continent of Africa, because things just operate on a whole different scale over there. So now that I'm a parent, I'm looking at things from a different perspective. So yes, as I put some of my net worth into Africa every year, and I'm developing properties over there, I'm developing businesses. If I ever have to, for whatever reason, go back and I decide I want to stay over there for a couple years, at least that'll be a solid option. But it starts from now, from setting the foundation and laying the groundwork now. So part of my trip was doing that, not just going back to reconnect with my roots, but seeing if it's possible to reconnect my son with his roots also, while looking for opportunity, while trying to plan for the future, while keeping an open mindset and thinking outside the box. So these are all reasons that I went back to Africa for my trip, and that trip was just a life-changing trip for me. It wasn't vacation by any means. I didn't look at it as vacation. It was just looking for opportunities, getting my mind right, thinking of my future, thinking about different things, where I want to go with this YouTube channel, what I want to do with my business, just an opportunity to clear my mind. And I'm so glad that I came and I did that, because now I'm thinking more clear, and now I can actually put together a solid plan for what I really want to do in Africa. And I'm going to keep sharing little things here and there as time progresses. So if you're interested in following my journey and want to see what I do with that movement on that side, then subscribe to my channel, like this video, look out for future videos. I appreciate all the support I've been getting, all the comments, I do read them. So I appreciate you guys participating one way or the other, and I'll catch you guys for another video maybe next week. So I hope you guys tune in with me, share more of your time with me. I would definitely appreciate that. All right, you guys be safe and go out and get that money, go out and form that business, go out and start that YouTube channel, go out and inspire and motivate others, just like I'm trying to do for you guys. Everybody be safe.